want to make sure that I acknowledge the sponsor of the show, Teach Henley, because Teach Henley sent me this new pack. They sent me the new Teach pack, so I just literally pulled the paper out, got it out of the mail, and I started going through it, and I got a little bit more excited than I should. You know what I'm saying? So they did send me the Teach pack, and I don't even know what this is yet. So I'm assuming this is what you get when you first order your Teach, and I don't know what this is. Oh, this is dope. This is absolutely dope. Is this a nail kit? Ladies, get this for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. This is free. This just comes with it. 30% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Literally. Oh, snaps. I didn't know that they were sending it like this. Real talk. So this is the nail kit that they sending you. All right. So now you ain't looking like a dusty. This is a free gift straight from Teach for the people that ordered the Teach. They got the small one for the little hands like mine's. They got the big joints for your toenails. And then they got the joints at the bottom too. You know what I'm saying? For y'all that's a little bit more crustier than usual. All right. So that's one of the free gifts that Teach got inside of the pack. And then what is this? Says squeeze a quarter size amount of Teach Hanley body wash on the center of the wet bristles. Lather, scrub, rinse, and repeat for the perfectly satisfying wash every time. So that's inside of there also, right? Ooh, I can get my rubber ducky on right here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Teach for sending me that uncomplicated skincare for men. And then what we got in here? We got the actual Teach pack, right? So this is the normal Teach pack. But then they gave me the supersized joint for the people. They wanted me to show the people exactly what they got when they ordered that first Teach pack, when you're getting your 30% off your first order, and then you get your free gifts. You get 2 free gifts, and then the 20% off for life. So the 20% off for life is a new thing. And, dang, I ain't even got my keys on me to open this up. Maybe I can use the little nail clipper thing. I ain't got to buy no nail clipper for my new joint downtown. And then you get all of the washes, all of the scrubs, all of the AM, the PMs, and all of that stuff. So you got the whole thing inside of there for you to make sure you take care of yourself. But you got to make sure you take care of it every day, right? We don't want to miss days. We don't want to be looking like dusties. It does not absolve you from being able to make sure that you brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. It don't fix the teeth problem. Don't fix you ironing your clothes. Don't fix you being able to take care of your business. But it absolutely makes sure that your skin is phenomenal, even when you go in between shaves. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Teach Henley. We absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold us down. I might do an official Teach commercial, but I like just talking authentically to the people. I like giving the people the authentic look of what it is that you're dealing with, and I want you to hear from me personally. Because anybody can do that little pitch and they can make some little videos, but very few of us can actually speak to the products of exactly what it is that you're supposed to use. So yeah, Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order and then 20% off for life. That's the Anton Daniels pack, 20% off for life. Using any other Teach pack, make sure that you go ahead and let that go. And make sure you tap into the link that's in the description and take care of it, all right? What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in to the Anton Daniels Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and this is a special live stream. Let me just give you guys a little bit of the background, and we're going to go into all of the details with regard to what is happening with Trump. I'm going to give you my perspective. I'm going to show you what Biden's response is. We're going to go ahead and continue to review what's going on out in these streets. And then more importantly, I happen to think personally that this is the best possible thing, worst possible thing that can happen as far as an attempt on a former president's life. Worst possible thing that can happen with regard to there's an attempt on a former president's life. Worst possible thing that could happen when it comes to an attempt on a former president's life. But absolutely the best opportunity as far as capitalizing off of what has already happened when it comes to election 2024. First and foremost, let me just go ahead and say, I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in all the time. I was out chilling. I was out chilling. I was at the little day spot. I was in a little VIP section. Me, my friends, Mika, we all slow motion. And then I get the notifications and I start getting at least 50 different text messages, probably more, at least 50 different text messages from people letting me know and saying, Anton, did you hear what was going on? Now, was no way that I could not hear what was going on because I know that you guys are absolutely 100% in tune. And so you're going to keep me up to date on what's happening out in these streets. And so I don't live stream on the weekends. I don't go live on the weekends. So I wind up catching public transportation, caught it, came up to here just so I can give you my perspective because I have a unique take that is much different than just letting y'all know what's going on in the news. Let me preface this by saying that I was speaking with a black man on the queue line on public transportation. Actually, it was two black women and a black man, white woman and a white man, and then there was a whole bunch of people on the train. And so, the guy was like, man, the white guy said, man, did you hear about Trump almost getting assassinated? And I said, yeah, and everybody was all surprised. And then the two black women was like, not a problem for me. Not a problem for me. And I said, man, that's unfortunate. Because they were really up there in age. They were probably above the age of 65, and so was the black man. But then when I started speaking, and I literally broke it down for them, I said, y'all don't even realize that this is the best thing that could have ever happened to us. And they thought that I was speaking about the fact that the former President Trump, which is who is going to be the president in November, we are going to elect him president of the United States of America. They thought that I was saying that, this is a good thing as far as him being taken out. And this is how bitter the community is and why we need to divest away from the mindset of the people that came before us that told us that we only need to vote blue. You know why? Because they're so hell-bent and broken in their mind, and they led us down this pathway of destruction to ultimately support liberal policies, even though we are truly conservative, that they are happy that there's an attempt on a former president's life. Is that not one of the worst things that we've ever heard in our entire life? Is that not one of the worst things that listen, it used to be a time that no matter what, even with Bush, who I consider in my lifetime was one of the worst presidents of all time, the second Bush, it used to be a time that even if you didn't like the other candidate, the one thing that we all did was we came in solidarity whenever there was an attack on somebody that was supposed to be running for or a leader, regardless of whether or not you was on the left side or the right side. There has always been solidarity when there was a terrorist attack, an issue, or an assassination attempt on a president's life. We never celebrated when somebody is trying to take somebody else's life, because what it does is it eliminates the democratic process of us being able to choose for ourselves as voters who we want to be president of the United States of America. So when I see these bitter people that are advocating for Trump ultimately to lose his life just so they can try to get somebody else in the office, I'm not going for it. And I think it's a much, much, much deeper. You're not going to sit here and tell me that it's just on the surface that this is just something that just happened. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't even consider myself a conspiracy theorist. I think that I absolutely can put the pieces together, and that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to put the pieces together right now. But before we do, and before I tell you anything else as far as what my opinion is, we're going to visit the news. We're going to look at Biden's reaction to it. And then more importantly, I'm going to tell you exactly why not only this is one of the greatest coups for the Republican Party of all time, but I'm also going to help you to understand, and I'm going to break down what my theory is as to why this is happening in the first place. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to get started with the show. Corey Holiday says, I tend to vote third party, but not this time. Shout out to Corey. I appreciate you. Also in the chat is my dude, Delta Fox. Delta Fox says, man, people are acting crazy. This is stuff that happens in Cuba, Venezuela, Haiti, lawless countries, not on a first world nation. I think this might deviate attention for Biden after his disastrous NATO speech. Nope. This is going to highlight it, and I'm going to tell you why. Shout out to my dog, Delta Fox. I appreciate you for supporting the platform. Jay Ben says Trump an urgent care plan. Hit him up right now. Shout out to my dog, Jay Ben. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I'm definitely going to have one of the greatest live streams of all time today, right now. You are witnessing history. Anthony Boom says, just like them birds that was happy when KS passed. It's crazy. It's crazy. They are celebrating the assassination attempt on a former president's life just so they can try to win the White House. Ain't that sad? That they know that they losing and now they have to make an assassination attempt in order to try to take out one of our own? Organized Truth says we were inches away from a possible civil war. Thank God 45 is straight. Oh no, this is greater than that. This is one of the greatest coups of all time for the Republican Party, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, we're going to go ahead and get to it. Again, shout out to everybody that's supporting the platform. Let's get into it. We're just going to give you a breakdown for all of y'all that's sitting under a rock. I'm going to play the footage of what happened as far as Trump's assassination attempt on his life. Let's get to it, y'all.
I'm now going to show you the moment that just happened when the former president was speaking at his rally. Let's watch that video.
Take a look at what happened.
Okay.
Multiple different shots. They said there was at least 8 shots. As of right now, there are 2 confirmed kills. One of them was a woman that was sitting behind Trump. The other confirmed. More to come. You know, we're going to be breaking this down all weekend, and we definitely going to tackle it on the Millionaire Morning Show. But at least 2 confirmed killed the shooter. And then also on top of that, I'm going to read the super chat shortly. Also, it was at least a woman that was behind him that wind up passing away and dying. I believe this is divine. It is not his time to go because we are going to 100% take back over this country and we're going to make America great again.
So what you are watching is video from just a few moments ago when former President Donald Trump was on stage at his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. You see the Secret Service who were surrounding him. You see how they got him to the ground and that they were waiting to move him after we heard those noises. We don't know what those noises were.
Also, shout out to all of the Secret Service people and the first responders and the police officers and the SWAT members that are willing to put their lives on the line in order to protect the president, the next president of the United States of America. Shout out to all of the law enforcement officers. I know they keep telling y'all to defund the police. I know they don't want to fund the police. They want to continue to fund all of these social services in these liberal cities. Shout out to all of the liberals that continue to advocate against them, and then the people that also put their lives on the line in order to make sure that our president is safe. It is not an easy job, and these people are trying to go home to their families, but they make the sacrifice every single day. So make sure y'all absolutely hit a like for that. Let's continue to get to it.
At this point, we do know that they get him off this stage and that the former president was in his armored vehicle. They have now left the site of that incident. So the former president, Donald Trump, no longer there at that rally site in Butler, Pennsylvania. I'm going to let you watch more to see this full thing unfold. You see they move him off the stage.
I got you. Let me get my shoes. Hold on, your head is bloody. So we got to move to the bus.
He is standing up.
Watch out.
It's unclear what his status is, but you see him put his fist up. And you
Is that not one of the greatest scenes of all time? I mean, listen. I'm just going to be honest with you. This is like a Rocky movie. There could never be in history, listen, of all of the things that we've seen in 2024, I'm telling you that this right here, this picture that you see on the bottom of your screen of blood coming out of his ear and coming all the way over his face is going to be one of the greatest visual representations and used for years to come, way after we already have perished. This footage right here is one of the greatest pieces of footage that you will ever see when it comes to using visual representation of what America truly is. They are going to, look, if this did not only solidify, because we already know that they were desperate. The Democratic Party was 100% desperate. The first thing that they tried to do, and I'm going to just tell you the facts. The first thing that they tried to do, and then we're going to go over to, I'm going to read some super chats, and then we're going to go over to Biden's response. The first thing that they tried to do was they tried to remove his ability to even be able to run for president of the United States by throwing all of these trumped up charges on him and then trying to minimize the amount of money that he could use, and then try to leverage New York and try to leverage Georgia and all of these states. And then, I don't even know if y'all remember this, but they tried to remove him from the ballots. They 100% tried to remove him from the ballots in several different states. And it took for the Supreme Court and several different governing entities to ultimately reverse that decision to allow for you are the person that is supposed to be the one to determine who is the president of the United States of America. It is not supposed to be up to these other legislators. It is not supposed to be for them to use their part in office and to use their power and their political prowess to ultimately try to influence an election. If we're talking about interference, if we're talking about election interference, they tried to, listen, this is going to be the greatest documentary of all time, even greater than Jordan's, even greater than what they're putting together for LeBron. This is going to be the greatest story of all time. They cemented his legacy and they don't even know that they did it yet. They tried to remove him from the ballot. Then they tried to throw a bunch of charges on him in order to try to sully your view of him and to remove the possibility of being able to pick him or even select for yourself for who's going to be president of the United States of America. This is all facts. This is 100% facts. I'm telling you the timeline because we've been covering this every single day. Every single day. And then they know that they tried to use this as a coup to try to get Kamala Harris in office. I'm going to give it to you straight. This is a play to ultimately try to get Kamala Harris in office because I believe personally that they know that Biden ain't never been the one that's running the White House. He can't even hold a coherent thought. Every speech is written for him. He can't even walk up the stairs of the plane no more. It has been confirmed that the Fulton County DA, Fonnie Willis, and the mayor of Atlanta had a meeting in the White House and nobody wanted to cover it, and we covered it on the Millionaire Morning Show. Before they ever filed charges for Trump, it is public information, and anybody that wanted to see it, they can go and see that there was a meeting allegedly with the vice president, because the vice president then said that they denied it, that they didn't really meet with him, but they just went to the White House just to visit. What would the Fulton County District Attorney, Fonnie Willis, and Mike Dickinson, I believe that's his name, the mayor of Atlanta, what business would they have right before they filed all of these charges over in Georgia against Trump? What business would they have meeting with, allegedly, which is what is documented, because they saying that she never met it in the first place and everybody just swept it under the rug. What business do they have going to meet with the vice president of the United States of America right before they filed charges against Trump over in Georgia? They are trying every single thing that they can to remove your choice of being able to choose who's going to be president of the United States of America. And see, I don't care because I'm not controlled by anybody. There's nobody that dangles a paycheck in front of me. You can't dox me. And so for us free thinkers that's not worried about identity politics or worried about whether or not the black community is going to align with you or worried about whether or not these liberals or if they're going to continue to support you, the ones that got the courage are the ones that's going to be a part of history. The ones that continues to acquiesce and try to play identity politics and diversity, equity, and inclusion, the ones that won't give it to you straight, those are going to be the ones that get left behind in history. Victory is not given to the ones that's not willing to endure. It's given to the person that's willing to endure to the end. It's not given to the swift. And so it's easy for y'all to pander to somebody, but we're not going to forget this time. We're not going to forget this time. What I told somebody on that bus, on that train, on the way into my office, into my studio right now before I started live streaming, I said, listen, we not listening to boomers and Xers that left us down here and thought that we was going to fail. But the spirit of America is still inside of us. We still going to stand for what we believe in. And the truth, eventually, the winners is going to win. Winners win and losers lose. And so what you see happening, even though they tried to manufacture all of this stuff against him and tried to set him up to not be able to, listen, I'll even break it down to you even to a deeper extent. I believe that this whole pandemic, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, pandemic that we experienced in 2019 going into 2020, because I knew somebody that had the vid way before 2020 hit and they started to confirm it. But you can't sit here and tell me that they was over here trying to tell us that the vid just so happened to appear at that particular time. No, man, I'm not going for it. This is my theory. This is my theory. I'm not saying that it's a fact. This is my theory. I know people that had the vid way before they confirmed that it was the vid. In 2019, I went and visited my brother, and me and Rita was looking at him like, he went to the doctor. They said it's not the flu. What is it? He couldn't stop coughing. He was a young man, 20 years old, couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. And then we had this whole situation that then impacted how we viewed and what it was that we was going to vote on. And it was all put together, in my opinion, in theory, by the governors, which then aligned, and we didn't realize that the states had as much power as they had when they was over there trying to influence whether or not you could even open up your business, or whether you can go outside, or whether or not you had to have a mask on, or whether or not you had to take a jab in order to go and do whatever it is that you wanted to do as an American, as a citizen. They prevented you from being able to even open up your business, but they opened up the borders for people to be able to come into this country without no problem whatsoever. You couldn't open up your business. You couldn't even go and get toilet paper, but they was able to walk into this country without even having paperwork, and they took over your cities, and this was all planned, in my opinion, and every single thing that you've been seeing playing out has been failing. You know why? Because it's not meant for them to be there. They only got into office in 2020 so we could understand how good we had it in 2016. They got into office and they finessed. The devil did his due, but the thing about God is he gonna let you suffer for it so that you can go into it. He gonna let you realize how good you had it because you got a little bit too comfortable. And so all of these governors that ultimately they said had 81 million votes, the most in history for Biden. 81 million votes. Give me a break. Get out of here. You telling me we had a humming economy, no wars, troops was coming home, most money given to HBCUs in history, renegotiated the North American Free Trade Agreement, tariffs on China that Biden still have in place today in order to try to save the steel industry. But yet we got the UAW embracing a man and endorsing a man that can't even have a coherent thought. Really? Really? All of a sudden, all of these trumped up charges. Stormy Daniels, really? A porn star? Are we really having a conversation about whether or not this man buzzed down a porn star? I know some of the greatest men in history that's living and walking today that's still busting down holes. Don't mean that they not over here doing what they supposed to do and taking care of it. Listen, it's some men that got some problems, but it don't prevent them from being the greatest men of history, because all of the greatest men in history had a vice. You think I care whether or not this man in his past was with Stormy Daniels? And that's supposed to influence whether or not I'm going to vote for him in the next election, depending on his policy? Man that made sure that HBCUs was funded when the presidents before him never did? Saved your job? Put you in a position for him to be able to benefit, and they still couldn't take the economy and run it the right way. We still had record inflation. Y'all still can't afford no homes. You still had to bail out people, and they used all of this free money to continue to blow up the federal debt unnecessarily in order to try to influence you to vote a certain way by saying, well, guess what? You need student loan forgiveness for a self-inflicted wound that you never should have been in the first place. And you took the bait. You took the bait. But guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? You had to go to it so you'll realize how bad you had it. These last 4 years, some of y'all been selling box for $40. That's the truth. Don't sit here and telling me that you're going to vote for somebody just because you don't like somebody else. This right here, this screenshot, let me play it for y'all one more time. Let me play it for y'all one more time.
See him doing a I'm now going to show you the moment that just happened when the former president was speaking at his rally. Let's watch that video.
Take a look at what happened.
Okay. So what you are watching is video from just a few moments ago when former President Donald Trump was on stage at his rally.
Let me cook.
You see the
Let me
Secret
cook.
Service who were
Get the
surrounding
lights
him.
up.
You see how they got him to the ground and that they were waiting to move him after we heard those noises. We don't know what those noises were at this point. We do know that they get him off this stage and that the former president was in his armored vehicle. They have now left the site of that incident. So the former president, Donald Trump, no longer there at that rally site in Butler, Pennsylvania. I'm going to let you watch more to see this full thing unfold. You see they move him off the stage.
I got you, sir. Let me get my shoes, sir. Hold on, your head is bloody. So we gotta move to the classroom.
He is standing up.
Watch out.
When he could have went back and just jumped off the stage in order to make sure that he got to safety, this is what he did.
It's unclear what his status is, but you see him put his fist up, and you see
Greatest moment in 2024. Y'all was so enamored with what was going on with Cat Williams that you wasn't paying attention to what was happening right under your nose. When you was being distracted by all of the things that didn't matter, this is what was happening right under your nose. Let me take y'all to one of the most recent updates to let y'all know what's happening out in these streets. They say confirmed that one attendee and the shooter was dead. 2 people are taken out. Let me go down and give y'all an update of what's happening out in these streets, all right? So that was him getting in his motorcade. Right after, he's still making sure that the people understand, listen, you can't take away what God has already ordained to come. You can't remove what God has already ordained to come. Let's go on. It says that the shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania is being investigated as an attempted assassination. We know what it is. And of the former president and presumptive Republican nominee, law enforcement officials say a shooter is dead and an attendee was killed. 2 attendees are critically injured. Trump's campaign says he is fine. As of 25 minutes ago, they are saying that he left the hospital. He ain't about to sit in there like Biden is in order to be able to get that breathing machine after being whisked off the stage and being checked out at a local medical facility. It's funny. You know what the interesting thing is about this whole situation as we go into it? And I break this down, and I'm going to break it down from every single angle. You know what's so funny? Mika flew in last night, and we was live streaming on the After Hours. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. Mika flew in last night, and she said, Anton, our plane is late. I said, why is the plane late, Mika? She said, because we've been circling in the air for over 20 minutes, up to 25 minutes. I said, why are y'all circling in the air? They said it's a VIP at Detroit Airport. I've never seen Biden come to Detroit more than right now during this election season because Michigan is a swing state. Last night, they said it was a VIP shutting down the whole Detroit Metro Airport, the biggest airport in Michigan, the biggest airport in Detroit, shut down the whole airport. You know why? Because they're trying to drum up votes and they're trying to make sure that they confirm to you that he is coherent enough to be able to continue to be president of the United States of America. They running in and they scrambling with their heads cut off. The only time that I've seen him come here is when he pandered 2 times, once from the NAACP just recently and prior to that in order to try to secure the UAW vote. And they fell hook, line, and sinker just because they was trying to sell themselves out for some money instead of doing the thing that was in the best interest of the people, knowing that the money comes with it. That's why the word says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. You ain't got to sell out for it. You ain't got to sell out for it. You ain't got to sell out the whole country. Your money going to come anyway. But you sold out in order to endorse somebody who you knew wasn't even able to put together a coherent thought. You sold out. Don't sit here and talk about anybody else that vote Republican or black people or anybody that's for Trump. You sold out. Every last one of your grandparents and your parents, they sold out. They did. They sold you out. They told you to vote this way because they remained voluntarily ignorant throughout the entire time that they was raising you. That's why your daddy is a simp, because he sold out. That's why your mama's for the streets, because she sold out. And they kept telling us to vote a certain type of way in order to get somebody in office, but we know for a fact, listen, history tells us that if you go back and you look at it, Bill Clinton, the one that y'all keep saying is black, he got some head in the White House, but we got these old people sitting here telling me about Stormy Daniels. How hypocritical. Bill Clinton was getting some head by a mid chick in the White House. She was mid as hell in the 90s. And he flat out lied to y'all. He says, I did not have sex with that woman. Y'all forgot? Let me remind you, I was old enough to be there while y'all was sitting there in your daddy's nutsacks. Bill Clinton lied to your face and you loved him for it. And then he manufactured the housing crisis. And then we also suffered behind the dot-com bubble burst that was manufactured before that was happening during him. He sold out your whole manufacturing base. He gave all of your jobs over to China. We don't make anything in this country because of what was happening during first Bush and Clinton's administration, but you loved him for it. You loved him for it. You embraced him. You said he was black because he lied to you about getting ahead in the White House. And then they promoted his woman, his chick, and tried to give you her too. That's a fact. Let me remind you. I was outside during that time, so I was able to pay attention to what was happening. He lied to you. He got some head in the White House. He sold y'all jobs out. He made sure that y'all went to jail, and you loved him for it. You loved him for it. And you sit here and tell me about integrity. Nobody that came into the White House prior to Trump had integrity. Obama got elected because y'all couldn't wait to see a black man in office. And he gave you the alphabet community. His champion, his biggest accomplishment was selling you out and making sure that they passed laws in order for your daughter and your son then to be having to compete as to who it is. And you don't even know, based off of how they can identify, they can go and kick your daughter's ass in sports. Because everybody has the right to feel whatever it is that they want to feel. The same thing that y'all held Trump accountable for as far as deporting all of these migrants, they called Obama the deporter in chief. He deported more migrants than any president in history. Any president in history, he deported more illegal migrants. Listen, when Obama was in office, he was the real boogeyman. It wasn't Kendrick Lamar. It was Obama. If you was a migrant, you wasn't over here legally, he was the one that they was getting mad at because he said that they had all of the kids in cages. He was separating families. Listen, Obama, real monster. He was the one that was really, I know it. Listen, Obama got swag. Look at him and Michelle Obama. Black people are so easily finessed by the idea that Obama was at the basketball game. Ooh, he's smooth. He smoked a cigarette. Look how liberal his children are. Obama had migrants locked in cages and shipping them out. He shipped out more migrants, and during that exact same presidency, Biden himself said that we cannot have a true democracy and a secure United States of America. Go and look it up. He said you can't have a secure United States of America, a secure United States of America if we don't close off our borders. If I'm lying, I'm flying. I know y'all in y'all feelings today. Don't worry about it. We're going to get there. You in your feels today because we finally have the opportunity to have a true, real conversation about the truth, but you don't like it. You don't like it. Anton in his feels today. No, Anton is in his bag. Just because I'm passionate don't mean that I'm emotional. Let's spin over. Don't worry, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going to look at all of the hypocrisy, and then I'm going to finally break down to you why this will probably be one of the greatest memories in 2024 of all time. This is going to be the foundation of one of the greatest coups in American history, and you can't stop it. You can't stop the rain. You can't stop the rain when it starts to fall. When it starts to fall. You can't stop the rain. You can't stop the rain. When it starts to fall. You mad. We didn't, listen, we wasn't tripping. We knew we was coming back to get this election. You mad. The same thing that you want to hold Trump accountable for, you love Clinton for it. The same thing that you wanted to hold Trump accountable for, Obama did it before him. You mad. You mad it wasn't his time to go today. Let's see what Biden had to say. We gonna get there. We gonna get there today. Yes, we are. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We gonna get there today. Don't worry about it, baby girl. I got you. I'ma embarrass your daddy, your granddaddy, your grandmammy, your grandpappy, all of them. All of the ones that was having sex and the ones that you don't even know who your father really is, and they told you to continue to vote blue, and you became a step baby daddy, and you was a son husband, we gonna put all of that to rest today. On Saturday, July 13th, 2024, we putting it all to rest today. We gonna have an uncomfortable conversation, and if you never see me truly for who I am and know who I am in real life, I temper myself when I get online, but today we gonna let it all out. Let's get to Biden. I didn't even see with that fake ass smile, looking like the Saw Clown. Saw Clown about to get up here and help us to understand and issue his thoughts about Trump's alleged assassination attempt. Let's get into it, y'all.
Thanks for coming, folks. I've been thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite.
Thank you for the super chats. I'm going to read them shortly.
We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have engaged in making sure that people and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I'm able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. So far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that they're thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned any more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do. Okay?
Mr. President, do you think this was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough. I have an opinion, but I don't have it.
This y'all president, y'all. Hey, listen to the response. I want you to listen.
Back to you if I do. Okay?
Mr. President, do you think this was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough.
Listen, y'all. In a time where the country is supposed to be gathering behind to ensure that certain liberties and certain things that is never supposed to happen in 2024. Thank you, Spencer Campbell. Thank you to everybody that contributed to the platform. I'm going to acknowledge every last one of y'all. At a time where certain things is never supposed to happen. Certain things never is supposed to happen in 2024 and going forward. We can't even get a coherent thought. You know why? Because that wasn't a part of the planned speech. You were not supposed to ask questions, sir. You were not supposed to ask questions in the audience, sir. And so now that he got to go off script and now he got to go off of whatever it is that they got speech written for him in the podium, he can't put together a coherent thought. He can't put together a coherent thought. When they tell him to speak on his own, and this is one of the reasons why we're trying to figure out who the heck is operating in the White House. When they tell him to speak on his own, this is what he says. Give me a second. Let me play it for you.
Tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do. Okay?
Mr. President, do you think this was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough.
Who you voting for? I'm just saying, listen, when you take him off script and you ask a question out of turn, that guy might have been kicked out of any further news press conferences going forward in the future. This is the thing that we've been seeing. This is the thing that we've been seeing. Our commander-in-chief, leader of the free world, can't even put together a coherent sentence to speak to the issues that's happening in our communities today. We just had his political opponent almost get assassinated, and all we heard was, I'm going to cut that up into a new album. We going to sample that. Send that to Kanye West. Yeezy. Metro Boomin on the track. If Young Metro don't trust you, I'm going to shoot you. We gonna chop that up, throw that on the track, and try to figure out what he was saying later, but we definitely going to make that into a hit. Because I need to know what the heck you thinking when we ask you a question about something that never is supposed to happen on the 13th of July. That's right after the 4th of July. What did you say again, Biden?
Speak to him tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do. Okay?
Mr. President, do you think this was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough.
What did you say? on, man. Listen, when you can't go off the script and you got a freestyle, yo, a true freestyle. Let me help y'all to understand. Listen, I'm gonna break it down for you today to a C student's perspective, so you truly get it. We don't care about what all of these major news networks is talking about. We don't care about what you need it straight from the streets. You need to get it straight from the streets. From my mouth to babes. We're going to break it down from a C student's perspective. A true freestyle, and this is how you can tell the difference between a performer and an MC. It's the difference between rap and hip hop. A true freestyler is not a person that spit to you a random verse that they already memorized. A freestyler can just go off the top of the dome at any time and they gonna cook. But when they take them off script, they gonna get embarrassed. This is what happened to many rappers that would go up to a news station, or they would go up to the radio station and they would be like, yo, can you kick a freestyle? And sometimes the ones that you thought was dope, when you went and listened to their mixtape and their album, they already spit that verse because that's already something that was planned for them. If I'm lying, I'm flying. That mixtape, I seen you spit that already. That ain't off the top of the dome. What you talking about? Right? Yo. You're not even a true MC unless you say yo 3 or 4 times before you spit your freestyle. That's a fact. And then the other ones that didn't spit the right recycle verse and they actually tried it, they started to look like Safari was on the Breakfast Club. We said, boo, we don't believe you. You need more people. Boo. Boo, we don't believe you. You need more people. Word up, son, yo. And this is the exact same thing that's playing out for Biden. When they told him to go off script and they ask him a question, he can't give you a coherent thought. Let me go ahead and bring y'all up to speed on what's going on with Trump a little bit more so that we can make sure that you guys can understand and have a full view before I break this down in a summary form to help you to understand what the real coup is and why this will be the greatest coup in history. Let's continue.
And we're now told by his campaign he is in a medical facility getting treatment for what just happened. Pamela Brown is with us here in the CNN newsroom. You're getting new information. What are you learning?
That's right. Just got that he did confirm one spectator is dead, that the shooter is dead. A second spectator is in serious condition. Importantly, former President Trump is going to be okay. We know from the Trump campaign statement that he is going to be fine. The district attorney confirms that he is going to be okay. He was removed from the scene, as we know, from the U.S. Secret Service. Now, the district attorney did not know if the shooter died through a self-inflicted, wound or not. We also don't know more details about what kind of shooter this was. I think we need to be really careful until we find out more. I asked, did the shooter have a gun? Is that what you're saying? He said, I can't confirm that right now. I can't confirm anything about bullets or anything like that. So I think we need to be really careful till we get the actual confirmation of what kind of shooter this was. But the Butler District Attorney, Richard Goldinger, is confirming that one spectator is dead, a second spectator is in serious condition, and the shooter is dead. I asked him, how did this person, this shooter, that he did not have details about, by the way, get through security and have access to cause an injury to the former president there? And he said to me, look, that's the $1 million question right now. That is what we're all trying to figure out. And we know the U.S. Secret Service right now is leading this investigation. And that's a big question because, as we've heard, we just heard earlier from Wackrow, Jonathan Wackrow, Wolf, the security is so tight at these campaign events. You have a former president there. Security is as tight as it gets. And how this happened is just a major question.
Yeah, they got to learn.
All right, so let me go ahead and go over to the latest from Trump's campaign and the Republican National Convention released a joint statement following the assassination attempt at the rally. Now, the one thing that we're not going to do is we're not going to start to have PC words and act like this wasn't an assassination attempt. It was. This is the latest from Trump's campaign and the Republican National Convention says, Republican National Committee or Convention says, as was communicated earlier this evening, President Trump is doing well and grateful to law enforcement and first responders for their fast action. President Trump looks forward to joining you all in Milwaukee. Hey, let me get a round of applause for the prayers. Yeah, we're going to be in Milwaukee, baby. Milwaukee, we coming through. We ain't worried about no little injury on our ear. We ain't worried about none of that. We coming through to Milwaukee. Milwaukee, you up or no? Milwaukee, what we doing? We having a meetup in Milwaukee or no? You coming through or you not coming through? He said we going to Milwaukee as we proceed with our convention to nominate him to serve as the 47th. What up, 45, 47? Ain't that what Mike Epps said in All About the Benjamins? 45, 47. That's all predicted. 45, 47. Ba-ding, 30, 35, 42, 45, 47. 45, 47. I'm watching All About the Benjamins tonight. That might be before your time. Ba-ding, 30, 35, 42, 45, 47. 45, 47. 47th President of the United States as our party's nominee. President Trump will continue to share his vision to make America great again. Let me get a round of applause. Let's continue. Says the FBI is leading. This is according to Fox News. The FBI is leading its assassination investigation in Pennsylvania as Trump rallies after the Trump rally shooting. Says the FBI has assumed the role of lead federal law enforcement agency in investigation of the incident involving former President Donald Trump that occurred earlier today in Butler, Pennsylvania. The FBI said in a statement on Saturday night that was obtained by Fox News Digital. Special agents of FBI Pittsburgh field office responded immediately to include crisis response team members and evidence response technicians. We will continue to support this investigation with the full resources of the FBI alongside our partners at the U.S. Secret Service and state and local law enforcement. Shout out to the FBI. Shout out to the first responders. Shout out to everybody that continues to hold it down. Anyone with information that may assist the investigation is asked to call our tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI. Don't call if you're trying to get your taxes done. Don't call to try to get a reprieve. We want you to call if you think you know one of the reasons and you know some of the culprits that's out here. I need to call and just send them this whole live stream because I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what's going on. 45, 47. Listen. Here's my thoughts, okay? As we proceed to give you what you need, this is what I think is really going on out in these streets, okay? You ready? You ready? You know what's going on. You know what's happening. It didn't work. It didn't work then. It won't work now. And it's not going to work in the future. This is the truth. And then I'm going to read the super chats because I want to acknowledge everybody that's out here in the streets. And in this special live stream, I do want to say that y'all need to subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate everybody that's a part of this. Teach Hanley 40% off your first order plus a free gift, plus 20% off for life. Teach Hanley is a sponsor of this live stream. 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. That's Teach Hanley down in the description. If you want to align with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in, we run it up. We do stock club. We make sure that we get to the bag. We're doing a meetup on the 27th coming up in Houston. Those details is in the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Now, this is what I believe is truly happening. This was a final, and this is my opinion. This is my theory. I don't have concrete facts. This is just me telling you what I think is really happening out in these streets. Okay? You ready? This was the final attempt. The final attempt. Everything that y'all put together as far as what you thought was going to work has failed thus far. You didn't even think that it was a possibility for him to even run again. But then when you seen that little twinkle in our eyes and we said, listen, we don't believe you. You need more people. You said that we're going to go ahead and try to ruin his reputation and try to sully his name in the minds of the people. But you didn't know that all that did was make him more famous. It's our villain arc. And sometimes the person that we've identified as the villain is really the hero. It just depends on what side that you're looking at it from, what lens that you have on your camera. Sometimes the villain, the person that they paint as the villain, is really the hero. And that's why we identify with him, because we can understand what it looks like to be persecuted against when somebody don't want you to be able to compete with them because they can't compete with you. Couldn't compete with them in a debate. On their stage, all of the rules was established by the Democratic Party and Biden's team. They could not compete with them. On their stage, on CNN, with their rules, even with all of the mute buttons, they went up there and they could not stop what was going to happen, because you can't stop the rain. You can't stop the rain from falling. And so every single attempt, every single coup, all of the secret meetings, all of the advocating for, I seen that Kamala Harris was just at the AKA meeting. Roly-poly Martin was over there with his selfie stick getting removed out of the office. I see it. I see it. They trying to leverage they not speaking to you based off of facts and policy. Even when they go and they advocate at these little events and at these rallies, what they're doing is they're not speaking to the true issues of the American people. Why are there so many single-family households? Why did we defund the police? Why are all of these liberal cities falling under? Chicago, Los Angeles, Oakland. Oakland has recently been taken over by the California Highway Patrol. They can't even police themselves no more. They're operating at a budget deficit. Chicago, California, the state itself is operating at a $65 billion budget deficit. They taking money out of the slush fund. They can't even keep their own state solvent. Everywhere where they sold you out, and I'm telling you right now, they sold you out. They played on your emotions in order to get your vote, but they don't even have the ability to remain solvent in their own countries and in their own states, and their own environments, your communities. They let 15 plus million immigrants into your cities, and they called them sanctuaries. And then they came in and they training them to take your jobs. They training them to take your jobs every day because you don't want to work. And so they, instead of, you thought that it was going to work in order to advocate for at first $15 an hour. Now you making $20 plus an hour to pass out fast food. The kids can't even get a job because you think that you should be paid a fair wage. And so as a result, you forgot what the core principles of what make this country so great going forward, even though we've had decades and decades and centuries of bloodshed, is based off of the idea that you should have the freedom to pursue liberty and happiness, justice for all. That means that you are not given anything, but it's based off of your own work ethic. But they took that choice away from you because they tried to influence, in my opinion, what was basically happening and taking away your choice by then incentivizing you to vote for something that wasn't even in your best interest, even if they can't have a coherent thought. Even if they can't have a coherent thought. Even if you are too old and you showing signs of dementia. Even if they want to incentivize you to vote a certain type of way because they know that you are a simp. And so what happens is you start to lean towards your liberal policies and diversity, equity, and inclusion because your inability to compete. You have people coming over into this country that's taking over your opportunities because you failed. You failed as a voter. You failed to become educated. And now look what happened. Now we had to have divine intervention. Now we had to have the silent majority. The silent majority, not the loudest minority. The silent majority had to stand up and said, you know what? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. We can no longer let you do the thing that's not even in your own best interest. You know why? Because it's not even about you no more. Boomers, Xers, older millennials, geriatric millennials, people that continue to do the thing that's not in their best interest, and the only thing that they have to stand on is that I don't like him is the reason why I'm voting for him. You don't even have no understanding. And it don't even matter because most of y'all don't even vote unless they tell y'all that they're going to forgive your student loans. So now your property taxes is booming. You got migrants sleeping on your sidewalks. You have no ability to even provide housing for yourself. You can't buy a home. You can't survive. You then don't even have the job to stand on. You got a felony. The very ones that wrote the policies that put you in jail a long time ago and put your fathers and your grandfathers in jail is the same ones that was telling you that you ain't black if you ain't voting for us, even though they're not even black themselves and don't identify as such. But they sold you and they continue to sell you on this idea that you can then attach yourself to the federal government and somebody is coming to save you. That's not what this country is about. It's not about saving you. It's about giving you the opportunity to save yourself. And so many of us are running in the victim Olympics that we looking for somebody to give us an excuse or an out for why we not what we supposed to be. And so what you've seen happen and build up even during your grandfather's time on this earth and your great-grandfather's time on this earth is that they then gave you the wrong perspective of what you were supposed to be looking for when we then identify the person that's supposed to be leading us. Because our legislators and our leaders are ultimately the ones that then stand in our place and make the laws that then govern us. They're a reflection of the people. So when I see these failed cities, Chicago, Brandon Johnson, Dayton, Illinois, Oakland, Sheng Tao, Tiffany Henyard, Karen Bass, Eric Adams, unable to be able to govern the very places that y'all said to fund the police and y'all said Black Lives Matters. And we had over 100 people last weekend that died in Chicago, that got shot in Chicago. Over 20 people died, and you can't even govern yourselves. And they allocated $500,000 towards the study of reparations, but they spent over $400 million towards making sure that migrants had schooling, healthcare, housing, and jobs. And now they training them to take your place, and you can't even figure out what your right is from your left. And all I hear from black people a lot of times is, why you not voting? Because you don't believe in either candidate. Okay, you ain't voting on the national election. You also ain't even voting in your own city, because the voter turnout rate in Houston, when they said that they was going broke and they was over there finessing y'all, was less than 8.3%. How do I know more about your own city than you do? How do I know more about your own city than you do? Why do I know, and why am I doing these shows on the Millionaire Morning Show every single day talking about what's happening in your city, and you don't even know what's happening in your own legislature? You don't know who your alderman is. You don't know who your county treasurer is. You don't even know where your property taxes is going up. And it ain't until you already under duress and they can control you is when you start to get concerned. We need to be proactive about paying attention to what's happening in our cities, our legislative branches, and so goes us as our federal government. Because when you start to look at these people that's making these decisions and you look at how bad these cities are, what you basically seeing is a reflection of the people that voted them in. So I'm not going to advocate for somebody like Tiffany Henyard to be taken out of office, because you deserve her. You deserve Karen Bass. You deserve Eric Adams. You deserve all of these people that's then putting you in jail, taking your rights, taking control of your cities, and then telling you what you're going to pay in order to make sure that somebody else that made the decision to go to college and party and pick diversity, equity, and inclusion and basket weaving, underwater basket weaving, African-American studies, and then can't even provide for themselves. They became social workers. They got $150,000 in student loan debt, yet they're going to sit here and praise Biden for giving their student loans when it came out of your pocket. That's your money. That's your tax dollars. And we are the ones that got to pay for it. And because you don't want to be educated, yet you continue to give your money voluntarily to the federal government to determine what's going to happen. They're giving all of your money to Ukraine. They're giving all of your money to Taiwan to fight these proxy wars, especially when it comes to the CHIPS Act. You let these people put all of this stuff inside of these legislatures. They gave you the infrastructure deal, but you never read it. And the only thing you care about is abortion. Something that you can control. Close your legs and get married before you carry. And we letting these people tell us what we're supposed to do inside of our legislative branches, and they the ones that work for us. They work for us. How you gonna let them continue to finesse you and they work for us? They work for us. Your police officers, they work for you. Your president, he worked for you. Your Congress members that keep getting rich off of you, they work for you. That's your money. That's your money. For you not to know who it is that they work for, how would you ever open up a business and have an employee walking around saying what you gonna do and using your money to tell you what to do? You would fire him immediately. You want to know what's happening in your own households. You want to know what's happening in your own cities. How do you not know? How do you not know? How do we not know what is happening in all of these cities all around the country, but yet you continue to subject yourself to it? What are you, a simp? What are you, a sucker? Who are you? Why are we not aware of what's happening in our communities? Why are these people not coming over there and asking us what we want before election season? And why are we not leveraging our dollars and our power in order to determine and tell them what to do, what we want, based off of what we really need, instead of them playing off your emotions? This is all a coup. This is all a finesse. It's all bullshit at the end of the day, because you let it be. It's your fault. It's my fault. It's our fault. And at what point will we wake the fuck up? Everything around us is crumbling because we not paying attention and we not being intentional with what it is that's happening in our communities. And now they making a final attempt. This is the final straw. 4 months away from election 2024. This is the final straw. This is the final play. They can't finesse you when it comes to getting on the debate stage based off of what it is that they telling, and they set the rules up. And so now, because they so under duress, they got no other plays. All of their friends around them, Van Jones, all of the liberal channels, CNN, MSNBC, they can't hide it no more. They can't hide it no more, because now we got social media, and it's the great equalizer in us being able to tell the truth, saying what we really think, and then putting together the pieces because we not stupid. We don't give ourselves enough credit, and we don't really acknowledge the things that's going on around us. And because we don't do that, we ignore what it is that we know is best for us. We let them decide what's going to happen to us. Listen, I don't give a fuck how much money a billionaire put into a super PAC in order to be able to influence you what's going on. When you wake the fuck up and you start having a conversation with your people in your household on what's best for them, you'll start to really pay attention to the policies. You'll start really looking at things for what it really is. You're not stupid. You're not stupid. Just because you're ignoring the truth, just because you're ignoring what's really going on, does not mean that you're stupid. You ain't dumb. You voluntarily ignorant, meaning that you don't want to look outside. Only thing you want to do is continue to put your head in the sand and act like it ain't happening. It's happening. Everything is going to happen. Life continues to evolve. People going to do shit to you. But the one thing that my father taught me, he said, Anton, life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you react to it. It ain't about the lot that you was dealt. It's not about the circumstance that you in. It's not about the hood that you come from. It's not even about whether or not they're going to use your money to do whatever it is that they're going to do. It's all about what you're going to do about it now that you found out and now that you have the information. If you tune into this live stream, over 6,000 people that's in this live stream just on YouTube alone. If you tuned into this live stream, you no longer have an excuse to continue to bury your head in the sand. If you tuned into this live stream, you no longer have an excuse to continue to bury your head in the sand. I would advocate, and I would say to you as my final thought, it's over. It's over. But not for you, for them. It's not over for you. We just getting started. For them. Because they can no longer hide behind all of the games and the strategies that come along with trying to remove our ability to pick who we want to be in office. Even if you're not a person that's voting for President Trump, I would encourage you to not only participate in your local elections, because that is the thing that then affects you the most. Don't just go down the ballot and vote all blue. Vote for what's in your best interest and educate yourself so that when somebody comes up to you and they say, hey, who are you voting for? Don't just say that you're not voting, or don't say that you're voting for somebody because you don't like somebody else. Vote for your own best interest. Educate yourself. It's not enough to vote. You have to become educated, because an educated person is a dangerous person. And they don't want you to be educated. It's the easiest way for them to play on your emotions. I would advocate for you guys also. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for the people that's coming after you. Leave this earth in a better space had you not been here. But don't be responsible for people suffering after you just because you wanted to be voluntarily ignorant. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm passionate about the things that we talk about. And don't let them tell you that we can't talk about the things that we're passionate about. I heard a guy on the train today and say, one thing about it is we always don't want to talk about religion and politics. That's always been a no-no. No, that's what they've been trained to tell us that we're not supposed to talk about, because that's the things that's the most important to us. Collectively, as a group, talk about it. Have uncomfortable conversations, especially with people that may think differently than you, because they might have something to add into the conversation that will change your perspective of how you see life. And last but not least, understand this. This is not a race war. It's not a gender war. Those are the entertaining aspects of life. This is a class war. It's been a class war. And if you don't know, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We got more coming. Make sure you subscribe to the Millionaire Morning Show. And make sure you subscribe to After Hours, because we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go ahead and get y'all out of here for the day. I'm sorry. I had to truly tell you what my thoughts are. I respect you. I respect your opinion. But I'm just going to tell you, listen, I'm passionate about this. And this is what I talk about in real life. I have to censor myself and temper myself online. But when we get into these real venues and we start to have real conversations, if I can let loose, it's going to be on. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats. Make sure y'all subscribing to the channel and turn on your notifications too. We going up. We going to have some uncomfortable conversations. Tanisha says, we about the Trump. The day ass at the polls, vote Trump 2024. Shout out to my girl Tanisha. I appreciate you for continuing to rock out with me. Chris J says, Teflon Don is officially bulletproof. Shout out to Teflon Don and Chris J. Jeremy 23 says, I got you, big dog. Thank you for the fireball. Wealth Building Journey says, Trump is going to win in a landslide, not landslide. Shout out to Calico over there in Detroit. Baltimore Bank says, what's up, Anton? Can't wait for you to cook. Did you see what Amanda Seal said? No, we're going to review all of that. Trust me. Trust me. We got time. We got time. We're going to get to that. Tonight, we had to get to the truth. Tomorrow, we get to the suckers. Jay Ben is in the building, says, these Christians that celebrate downfalls make me sick. How you supposed to be Christ-like, but out here celebrating attempting a man on attempted homie? Shout out to you. CIA proudly, says Marquise Dixon. Thank you, Marquise. Jaquavius Smith says, a felon, trash talker, got hit, Trump blacker than me. Pray for Trump. Shout out to you. Alex Oubre says, man, my immediate thought when I got the news was, I can't wait for Anton's take on this. Oh, yeah, you know we're going to get into it. Ali says, God stepped in and voted today. Shout out to you, Ali. Jeremy 23 says, they try everything to stop him, but Trump keeps going and can't be stopped. Trump 24, God bless you. Love your channel, and I love you too. Ain't nobody doing it like we doing it over here. BizQ says he made sure he told the viewers, fight the legend Trump. Fight against the corrupt system. Trump 2024. Elon Musk just endorsed him too. I seen that, BizQ. Thank you for bringing that up. Philadelphia Wanderer says, they not after me, they're after you. Donald Trump said this. I'm just standing in the way. That is art imitating life 100. Shout out to you. Alexander F is in the building. And y'all got to understand that there's a lot of people that don't like this stream today. It's a lot of dislikes on this stream today, but I'm not here for them. I'm here for you. Biden is a sitting target. He cannot move that fast, hitting the ground with a broken his hip. It said they tried to take him out. I believe that. Jimmy Styles is in the building, says they messed up by missing. They shouldn't have missed. Furman says, I got this super sticker for you. Shout out to Furman. I appreciate you. King Stennis, the people celebrating this can't be Christians. They ain't. They heathens. Shout out to my dog, Yakar, the greatest moderator of all time and the person that is over the Discord. Shout out to my dog, Yakar, says facts. I love when my bro AD get to the real like this. Chasers don't get emotional. We just get to it. Some try, but can't keep up. Run it up, AD. Run it up, Tech Coach Ralph. Shout out to Tech Coach Ralph also. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I just want to be able to support my dog. Shout out to you, P. Shank is in the building. Shout out to P. Shank, says Anton Daniels. Preach! Like Young Dolph, the song. Crypto King is in the building, says on Monday, Trump stock is about to run it up. Donald Trump. Luke Casely, 20 over 50, says this is the perfect opportunity for the deep state to do the same on Biden since he refuses to resign and blame it on his right to start a civil war. They tried to start civil war. Oh, I'm going to break this all the way down. Alexander F says, 80, what do you think about Hill Harper, the Democrats? I know that Hill Harper is running over here in Michigan. I can give you my thoughts on that on a later date. I got some thoughts on it. Imagine Onward says, where the next $2 bill that I sent you in the P.O. box? Now more than ever, Imagine Onward. Shout out to Imagine Onward. I can't wait to get that in my P.O. box. Ash! Shout out to Ash. AD, the country just dodged a presidential assassination in our generation. He turned his head slightly enough that bullet missed his head. God has a hand on this man. Trump is truly the Teflon Don. God bless Trump, his family, and America. Shout out to Ash, my people. Molly all in her drink. She ain't even know it, says for the collection plate. Thank you, Molly. Tanisha, that's your second time, Tanisha. I'm in my feelings in my pockets. Vote Trump 2024 and beyond. Shout out to Tanisha. Splash Mathis. Thank you, Splash Mathis, for holding me down. I appreciate you for supporting the platform. Spencer Campbell is in the building with the 100 ball. Says, keep speaking the truth, AD. My Trump flag will never come down. Trump 2024. Man, is this not the greatest live stream and live streaming that y'all have never seen in your entire life? High Tolerance says, was that delay him or the stream? Shout out to High Tolerance. I appreciate you. High Tolerance also says, like to see you link up with Officer Tatum. Shout out to Officer Tatum out there in the streets doing his thing. We live in the USSR, not the USA, says Will Livingston. Dace says, Biden like, I want the knife. Baltimore Banks in the building says the world needs to hear this fire. Your perspective is unreal. Keep cooking. High Tolerance. Thank you, High Tolerance. Let me give you a round of applause. Sleepy Joe's got Ghost Riders. Super chat for my dog, Philip Sadiq. Thank you, Philip Sadiq. You always just stop by and throw that in the plate. Carolina's own DJ K Smooth says, I honestly thought I was nice on the wheels of steel with the scratches until I heard the Jughead Joe. Steelers, Knicks fan, 757 says Biden sound like Eddie Murphy from The Golden Child. I said, want the knife? Shout out to you. Mr. Told You says, FBI leading. It's the same agency that tried to frame him as a Russian asset. Right, exactly. I don't trust that. High Tolerance says Isaiah 54-17. Wealth Building Journey is in the building, says join the bag chasers. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Go in the direction of like-minded people who are running that bag up. Pro-business Trump will be back in the White House, and we're going to be running it up, y'all. What? Says one person in the audience behind Trump was shot and killed, and the shooter is dead. Charles Blanco says political and financial assassination didn't work, so they really tried to kill him. I believe that also. Protect this man. The last slide is about to be real. Trump might win 45 plus states. And I can't even understand why he wouldn't win 50, though. High Tolerance says Philadelphia is in there with Chi, NYC, Los Angeles, and Oakland. There's a lot of cities that's out here like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a party in your mind. Oh, Jesus Christ. Says this was staged, but he'll for sure get into office. So they killed somebody behind him in order to make sure that they staged it. Okay. Hazi Kim Ministry says somebody said January 6th is still treason, Anton. Please address this, brother. Not on this stream. We'll address it another time. Let me give my dog your core, the greatest moderator of all time. I love you, bro. You saving souls out here. Don't ever stop. The devil don't like this. Chaser for life. Shout out to the chasers. Again, a link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. My dog, your car. Bot says conspiracy is tomorrow's truth. Today's conspiracy is tomorrow's truth. Floyd Jr. 31 says, my people have been blind in one eye and can't see out the other voting Democrat no matter what. And you know that that's what they do. Spacer says, I only trust you and ABL to cover this. Shout out to my dog, Anthony Brian Logan. I love you. Mars is in the building, says Jay Reed was the shooter. LTG, Let's Talk Game, says Trump is a new 50 Cent. Trump 2024. Yeah. Jawan Hart is in the building, says, when you coming for the king, you best not miss. Shout out to The Wire and the people that love The Wire. It's the greatest show series of all the time. Norris Nix is in the building, says lefties complain about January 6th, but this is insane. It's just to fuel MAGA 2024. The Warrior 313. Shout out to my Detroit brethren. What up, though? I met a lot of y'all on the streets today. Says, what up, though? Love the message tonight and wanted to support a fellow Detroiter. Shout out to Detroit brethren and everybody in the 50 states. Craig G is in the building, says, get out your feelings and get in your bag with Trump. Shout out to Craig G. I love you, big dog. Shen C, always supporting the platform, says he got shit like, I got shit, but he ain't breathing. He ain't breathing. He ain't breathing. Distinguished Professor is in the building, says, can't assassinate a revolution. They just gave the White House the Teflon 9. Greatest coup of all time. My name is Corey is in the building, says, thanks for the live stream, big dog. This is a balanced perspective that needs to be heard by all. Share this with your friends and family, even if they're uncomfortable hearing it. Series A, 5274 says, what you said about abortion needs to be said. I'm a female. I've been in relationships for 8 years. I've never been pregnant once. That's because you intentional, my baby. You intentional, my baby. Mr. 707 Video says they have no business in office, especially Trump. Shout out to Mr. 707. We don't censor people. We want to hear every single perspective. And shout out to everybody that disagree, because one of the things that's beautiful about this country is your freedom to speech and your freedom to disagree. I love uncomfortable conversations. I love everybody that joined into the live stream today. I appreciate y'all. I rock with y'all. I will be covering this relentlessly. And you know what we're going to get to next week. You know what we're going to get to on the Millionaire Morning Show. And if you are not subscribed to this channel, if you're not subscribed to the Millionaire Morning Show, if you're not subscribed to After Hours, if you're not a bag chaser, if you do not have your T. Hanley with 40% off plus 20% off for life, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life, you losing, you missing. I don't want to hear it. Have the conversation, get uncomfortable, and let's get to it. The best thing that we can do is really talk about it with the people that have a difference of opinion from us, not just live in these echo chambers, and let's elevate the conversation more than just talking about the gender wars and relationships and all of this other stuff that is not affecting us, but the stuff that really needs to be talked about, we gonna have that conversation too. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all the greatest audience on earth. I got to get up out of here because this was a special live stream. One of the greatest of all time. Let's get to it, y'all. I'm out. Till tomorrow. Peace.